Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Back on the topic of the NFL today. I took a look at NFL's QB index and their top 10 quarterbacks going into this next season, and that's what I'm going to be reacting to today. I think there's a lot of great quarterbacks in the league, both conferences. So this top 10 list does get a little bit tricky as you get into the final, the last half of it. The last 5 spots I think are pretty hard to fill. So that's what I'm going to be looking at today and reacting to NFL's list. Before we get into the video, question of the day, kind of a lengthy one. Tell me what your guys' top 10 list is in the comments below. And if once you hear mine, whether or not you disagree with it, I know that, like I said, there's a lot of different places you can put these quarterbacks, a lot of different rankings, and of course it's going to depend on what teams you guys are a fan of. So comment below your top 10 list and tell me what you think about mine. Of course, throughout the video, you'll hear what my list would be. So let's get right into the video. I'm going to first start by going through NFL's list and then just kind of reading the stats and the listing straight as they had it. And then at the later on in the video, I'll go over why or what I would change, and then, of course, my own list at the end. So starting at number 1, going to number 10. In my opinion, the first 3 guys are basically interchangeable between Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. NFL has Aaron Rodgers in the number 1 spot. Last year, completion percentage just over 70. He had just shy of 5,000 yards, 8.1 per attempt, 53 passing touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. That is through 18 games, of course. These stats are through how many games the quarterback had throughout the year. So when you hear Brady's stats, that's through 20 games, and Mahomes through 20 games because they both went to the Super Bowl. So first they have Aaron Rodgers. Next they have Tom Brady, who threw for almost 5,700 yards. That's a lot of yards, 50 touchdowns. So 3 shy of Rodgers, but 15 interceptions, which is over double what Rodgers had and almost double what Mahomes has. Patrick Mahomes is third, 5,500 yards and 42 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. In the 4th spot, Deshaun Watson, interestingly enough, aside from whatever's going on with him off the field, the dude had a great season last year, set career highs in passing yards and touchdowns. His stats were 4,823 yards, 70.2 completion percentage, almost 9 yards per attempt. That's pretty good. 33 touchdowns, which is again a career high, and only 7 interceptions. That's just as well. Rodgers had 6 for comparison, and Tom Brady had 15. So for 7 for Deshaun Watson is impressive. 5th on NFL's list, Josh Allen, just shy of or just over 4,500 yards and 42 touchdowns, only 11 interceptions. Coming in through the bottom 5. 6th, they have Russell Wilson. This is one of the picks, the placements that I disagree with. Russ is a great quarterback. He's had a great career. Of course, had that big Super Bowl win over Denver. But last year, the first half, or at least the first 6 games, was like a clear MVP frontrunner. And Russell Wilson, in the last half of the season, his touchdown to interception ratio plummeted, and he fell off the face of the earth, really. Started to turn over the ball a lot. So I do disagree a little bit with Russ's placement, but nonetheless, he's a good quarterback. 7th, we got Lamar Jackson. 17 games last year. Of course, got 1 playoff game. They beat Tennessee. But he had, just over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. Now, we know this is a guy that doesn't throw the ball a lot, so for him to break 3,000 yards and over 25 touchdowns, that's as many touchdowns as Baker Mayfield. Not quite. But good stats from Lamar. In all honesty, I've given him my fair share of hate. The fact that he doesn't throw the ball that well, all the above. I've been there and I've seen that perspective. But you can't take away from Lamar that that he's good at competing, good at winning, all of the above. So Lamar on this list at 7, I like him. I like him in that spot. Number 8, NFL's got Tannehill, who threw just under 4,000 yards and 34 touchdowns. Coming in the 9th spot, Justin Herbert, who threw for 4,330 yards, 31 touchdowns. Of course, rookie season there, and he missed the first game, or at least the first half of the first game, because Tyrod was the starter, Tyrod Taylor. And Herbert, as a rookie, only threw 10 interceptions, so that's pretty impressive in my opinion. And of course, Chargers fans, you guys like him a lot. I'm a big Herbert fan. I think he brings a lot of promise to that Chargers team, so I like Herbert a lot on this list, even though he's only going into his 2nd year. And bringing up the 10th spot, Kyler Murray, 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, and we know how mobile of a guy he is. So Kyler, probably a lot of you guys might agree with him in that spot. Maybe I don't. You guys will see later on. But notable guys left off this list, in my opinion. Dak Prescott, hopefully going to be coming back. The dude's a great leader there in Dallas. Dallas might not have the best overall team defensively wise. They're kind of lacking, but they did draft Micah Parsons. Besides the point, Dallas's offense should be good. They're in a very winnable division, and Dak's a great leader, so I think Dak should have been on this list. Matthew Stafford, a guy coming in now to play for the Rams. Going to be playing on his first team with good weapons outside of Calvin Johnson in Detroit. Yes, Cam Akers is now hurt, but the Rams will figure something out in the backfield. Still got Robert Woods, still got Cooper Kupp to throw the ball to. So I think Stafford belongs in this list as well. And one more guy, Baker Mayfield. Not to say he really belongs in this list because the top 10 is just such a hard spot to fill, and I do think he's just outside of that. But Baker Mayfield, going to have a great team in Cleveland, so I think he's definitely worth mentioning. But now to get to my list. What would I change? Inside of the top 3, I think I might switch around 2 guys. Not that that's a big deal. They're still top 3 guys, but I think my list would go Rodgers first, just like NFL's list had. And then I think I'd give Mahomes the jump over Brady and put Mahomes in the 2 spot. Simply because the turnovers. Brady fumbled the ball, I think, 3 or 4 times last year through 15 interceptions. And then Mahomes only threw 8 interceptions and I think 3 fumbles, same amount. But Mahomes had more passing yards through the regular season. And I just think that Mahomes was a more efficient guy. If you look at their percentage, Mahomes had a 66.1 completion percentage versus Brady's 64. And like I said, yards per attempt as well, higher for Mahomes. So Mahomes is a little more efficient, so I'll give him the edge over Brady. So my list so far stands at Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady in the 3 spot. In the 4 spot, my 4 and 5 spots agree with NFL. I got Deshaun in the 4 spot, Josh Allen in the 5 spot. Watson's stats were better in almost every way. Like I said, yards were better, Josh Allen's touchdowns were far better, 9 more, but in almost every other category, interceptions, Deshaun had less. Yards per attempt, Deshaun at 8.9 versus Josh Allen at 7.7. So, yes, Josh Allen had more total passing touchdowns, but overall, Deshaun was a more efficient guy, so I give him the edge. So 4 and 5 are going to go Deshaun and Josh Allen. So to recap what I have, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen. Coming in the 6th spot, NFL has Russell Wilson, then Lamar at 7. I'm going to flip-flop those guys, give Lamar the 6th spot and Russell Wilson the 7th spot. I think Lamar deserves the 6th spot. I think he's continuing to prove people wrong. No, the Ravens didn't have a great season last year, but they made the playoffs and they won a first-round game against Tennessee in Tennessee. So they won a road playoff game, fell short to the Bills. But Lamar gets possibly the most hate in the league among quarterbacks, and he continues to overcome, continues to have winning seasons, continues to compete in the AFC North, continues to make the playoffs. Lamar deserves to start getting credit for that, even if he doesn't throw the ball as well as other people in the league. Like I said, still posted 3,000 passing yards last year, 26 touchdowns. That's through the air, plus what he can do on the ground. Lamar deserves some respect. He's earning it, so I'm going to give him the 6th spot. And Russell Wilson, despite his midseason struggles last year, he's still Russell Wilson. He's still the guy that had MVP caliber first half of the year, and he's still Russell Wilson, the leader of that Seahawks team. The Seahawks team, of course, gave up so much for Jamal Adams, and I think is going to shape up to be better this coming year. The defense is hopefully going to get better, and I'm hoping that O-line can protect Russ against J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Aaron Donald, all those guys in that NFC West division. But I think Russ deserves the 7th spot despite last season's struggles. That leaves the 8, 9, and 10 spot for me to fill with still Herbert, Stafford, Dak, Baker, Kyler, all on the table. Ryan Tannehill, those are 6, 7, whatever I just named, great quarterbacks that are going to be hard to push any of them out of this list. But in the 8th spot, I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford, a guy that has shown talent in all these years in Detroit. I think if I had to guess, he's 32. That could be off, but I think 32. So let's say he's been in Detroit for 10 seasons. It sounds right. And I think that, 0 playoff bursts for Matthew Stafford? 0 playoff wins, I know. So, at least I'm pretty sure of that. But nothing to show for Stafford's career, so you can't base anything off of that. But his accuracy, his ability to move in the pocket, and his just will to win, I think deserves Stafford a spot on this list. And he's going to be on a better team, or at least a more well-rounded team than he ever has or ever was in Detroit. Good defense there in LA, good offense, even without Cam Akers. I still think they'll be able to put a lot together offensively. So I'm going to give Stafford the 8th spot. Coming in at number 9, my pick is going to go to Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys, a guy that you can't base a lot of last season off of last season because he only played a handful of games before he got hurt. But this is a guy that's 42-27 in his career as a starter, so that's very favorable record. Went 13-3 his rookie season, and he leads that team in Dallas very efficient or very effectively. He's a good leader, and this Cowboys offense, if it is as good as it could be with CeeDee Lamb, with a healthy Dak, with Amari Cooper, and with a Zeke that I'm hoping is going to have a bounce back year, this Dak Prescott led Cowboys team is my pick to win the NFC East. So I'm gonna give Dak the 9 spot, which leaves the 10 spot between Baker, Kyler, Tannehill, and Justin Herbert. And again, the 10 spot on NFL's list was Kyler Murray. I think that's a solid pick. The dude's mobile. 26 touchdowns last year. Got a guy like D-Hop on his team to throw the ball to. But my 10 spot's going to go to LA Chargers, Justin Herbert. I think he deserves to be on this list. Not very high up on the list because he's only in his second year and he's got 7-9 season. But Justin Herbert has shown leadership skills of a guy much farther advanced in their career than he really is. Like I said, going into his second year, he throws the ball really well. He's got really good arm strength. He's mobile. His physical frame is promising. Everything about Herbert, his leadership skills, is promising. So that's why I give him the 10 spot, despite the fact that he's only in his second year and doesn't have a whole lot to base his ranking off of. But to finalize that, my list goes Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, Watson, Allen, Lamar, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, Dak, and Herbert in the 10 spot. That's my list, guys. Remember to comment below what your list is and what you'd change about mine. But as far as the video, guys, that's all. Thanks for watching 2 Minute Warning.